Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to my channel. It's a rainy Wednesday night, and of course, I hope you're not having a hard time with your internet connection because it's gonna rain really hard, I guess, from this side of the metro. But anyway, we'll be waiting for you guys to pick up the notification and find out that I'm already online, and then we'll start this conversation. And once again, I'd like to greet everyone who's watching right now. Thank you so much for tuning in. And of course, you can definitely send me a message or post a comment down below. And you can say your highs and hellos. And you can also share your experiences and your comments on the comment box. I think you can see the lightning behind me. So that's kind of scary on my screen, though. I can see it on my screen. But anyway, hope you're comfortably seated and warm and you're not feeling anything bad or you're not feeling under the weather, because I think the weather's been really unpredictable these days. So again, hope you're comfortably seated wherever you are. And to those of you who are watching via replay, I hope that you can also send a comment or two on our comment box below so that I will also be able to know that you're actually watching via replay. So thank you so much for those of you who have been constantly supporting my channel. It's there's like thunder on my background. I don't know, can you hear me? I mean, can you hear the thunder in my background? Well, anyway, so welcome back to our Empowerment Wednesdays. And to those of you who do not know me yet, let me introduce myself all over again. I'm Irene. I'm a licensed real estate broker in the Philippines. I'm also a motivational speaker and a writer. And tonight is another podcast episode. We are going to discuss about reconciling with ourselves. So I have there's 1,000 cameras behind me, taking a picture with all those flashes with this thunder. Okay, anyway, our topic for tonight is reconciling with yourself, why we should forgive ourselves. Yan ang topic natin for tonight. And again, to those of you who are watching right now, please feel free to share your comments, your experiences. If you have reactions, you can also share them, post them on the comment section below. Okay. So ano ba yung context? Why is our podcast episode all about reconciling with ourselves? So recently, I have been, talking to people. I mean, people always talk to me for several reasons, and I always talk to people for several reasons. And one of the most recent experiences that I had is someone asking forgiveness from somebody else, and the somebody else said that she cannot forgive the other person. Okay, she cannot forgive the other person just yet. And I'm like, why do you think so? And it really, the thought really came across my mind that maybe we are not ready to forgive people because we haven't forgiven ourselves yet. Okay, so that's why we are going to talk about why is it important for us to forgive ourselves first before we forgive other people. Okay, the importance of forgiving ourselves, iisa lang yon. Okay, maraming dahilan bakit importante na patawarin natin ang sarili natin. But the main reason is because we are actually not comfortable in forgiving other people kapag may nagawa sila sa ating mali. Kasi in the first place, we haven't forgiven ourselves yet. So, let's find out, how do we really forgive ourselves? Excuse me. Okay, pinakauna dyan, how do we forgive ourselves? The first step is to really finding out why we cannot forgive ourselves. Okay, we have been in situations wherein we know that we have also contributed to a particular scenario. Diba? Nag-contribute tayo, so meron tayong, ano ba tawag doon? Naging parte tayo sa dahilan why a scenario happened. And that particular contribution may lead us to not forgive ourselves. Kaya hindi natin mapatawad yung sarili natin kasi feeling natin meron tayong contribution doon sa nangyaring scenario, whatever it is. Okay? So the second step in forgiving ourselves is to stop the blame game. Ano ba yung blame game? Yung paulit-ulit nating sinisisi yung sarili natin. When something goes wrong, the first person that we always blame is ourselves. Always. And so what happens next is that hindi tayo maka-move on. Kaya ka hindi maka-move on kasi paulit-ulit mong sinisisi yung sarili mo. Okay? So, stop the blame game. Okay? The third step is to accept. Okay? Accept. Tanggapin mo. No? Accept that we are not perfect and that we may have made bad decisions. Okay? And, bad decisions do not really define people. I believe in this lifetime, every person will make bad decisions. Lahat tayo magkakaroon ng mga maling desisyon sa buhay. But those decisions do not define you as a person. You should never let your bad decisions make you believe that you are a bad person. Bad decisions do not make you a bad person. Those are just decisions. Maling decision lang talaga sila. Hindi yung decisions natin, hindi sila justification para tawagin tayong masamang tao. Every person has his or her own reason why we are doing this and that. Okay? So our decisions do not define us. Therefore, we should accept that we are not perfect and we can make bad decisions. Okay? So that's another step on how we can really forgive ourselves. Accept that we can make mistakes. Tanggapin natin yan, we are not perfect. Next is cliche. Ito talaga naririnig ko yung sobrang lakas na thunder sa paligid ko. Oh my goodness. Anyway, so next is, it's a cliche but mistakes are a part of our growth as a person. So kahit na gas na linya na to, sinasabi natin, mistakes are a part of your growth. But let me emphasize that cliche. Mistakes are definitely a part of our growth. Kung hindi tayo madadapa, hindi natin matututunan kung paano bumangon. So definitely our mistakes teach us something that successes will never teach us. So let's be mindful of our mistakes. Ano ba yung dapat nating matutunan sa mga mistakes na to? And again, mistakes are common. It can happen to anyone. Isa pang step on how to forgive ourselves is to not be overly self-critical. Yung palagi nating pinupuna to the highest level yung sarili natin. Again, we have to accept that we are not perfect human beings, that we are prone to errors, and that we make bad decisions. So, let's not be overly self-critical kasi madalas ang nangyayari, ang nadidistract ako. Naririnig ko yung thunder sa paligid ko. Feeling ko naririnig siya sa audio. Naririnig po ba? Actually, hindi ko nakikita kung may mga nanonood or so, hindi ko alam kung online ba ako or wala din ako nakikita ang comment. So, I'm not sure if I'm online. But anyway, I'll proceed. Diyos ko, naririnig ko yung, lakas ng ulan sa likod ko. Anyway, so, again, going back to what I was saying earlier, ang nangyayari kasi, masyado tayong critical sa sarili natin. We tend to criticize ourselves too much. And we've already talked about this in a previous podcast episode. Kung paano nga ba natin mas mamahalin yung sarili natin. Let's stop criticizing ourselves for the wrong reasons. We can criticize ourselves. That's good. I mean, at least you know your flaws, you know your faults. But not to the point na binaberate natin yung sarili natin. We are putting ourselves down, which is not so good. Kasi if there's one person who should be the first one to lift you up, that's yourself. So once you're putting yourself down, hindi maganda yun para sa'yo. Okay? Okay lang mag-criticize, but don't put yourself down. Ayun. Yay! At least alam ko online ako. May nag-comment, "Hi, Ma'am Rowena. Thank you so much for tuning in." Ayan. At least alam ko live ako. Hindi ko nakikita yung mga audience eh. Okay. Next is, ulitin natin to, understand that you are human too, and that you are human just like everybody else. Wala pong isang tao sa buong mundo na hindi nagkakamali. 'Di ba nga sabi nga sa Bible, this is one of the things that really stuck with me is the first person who does not sin should cast the first stone. So, ibig sabihin, wala tayong karapatang manghusga kasi nga, lahat tayo ay nagkakamali. So, putting that in a perspective of ourselves, we should stop considering ourselves as someone na sobrang imperfect, we are more than critical, ganyan. Dapat understand natin na we are also humans. But of course, we should not make this as an excuse to always commit mistakes. Iba rin yun, okay? So, wag nating gagawing excuse na, kasi tao lang ako, kaya lagi ako nagkakamali. So, we're not supposed to make that as an excuse. But we should also accept natin na kung nagkamali man tayo, yan, patawarin natin sarili natin kasi we're not perfect. Okay, and feeling ko kikidlat nakikita ko siya, dapat pala sinara ko yung blinds ko. Okay, and of course, again, forgiveness is a process. Just like forgiving somebody else, forgiving ourselves is also a process in itself. Huwag nating pupwersahin yung sarili natin. Huwag tayong magmamadali. Okay. Sharing my personal experience. No? I have also experienced several times in my life na I have to forgive somebody else for having done something unacceptable in my life. And there were so many times in my life na na-realize ko na kaya hindi ako makapag-let go, kaya hindi ako makapag-move forward, kasi hindi ko napatawad yung tao. Hindi ko mapatawad. So ngayon, kailangan kong balikan. Bakit hindi ko sila mapatawad? Yun pala, ang pinakadahilan bakit hindi ko sila mapatawad is kasi hindi ko rin napatawad yung sarili ko. That's why sometimes it makes it really hard for us to let go of things because we haven't forgiven ourselves. Yung pala yung una. Kaya pala maraming hindi nakakapag-let go ng galit nila. Kasi ang pinakauna palang kailangan nilang i-let go na galit ay yung galit para sa sarili nila. Because again, most of the time, we blame ourselves for something that went wrong. And I'm not blaming anyone, no? If you're blaming yourself, I can't blame you because it's a normal human reaction to be blaming ourselves for something that happened. But also, we have to reconcile with ourselves. And reconciling with ourselves is actually the last step in forgiving ourselves. So, makakapag-reconcile ka lang with yourself kung napatawad mo na yung sarili mo. That's why it's important to know how to forgive yourself. You can never forgive somebody else if you haven't forgiven yourself first. Okay? So, laging ganon. Laging sa atin nagsisimula ang lahat ng maganda o hindi masyadong magandang emotion. It starts from within us. So, if we cannot forgive other people, narinig ko yung thunder sa likod ko. So, if we cannot forgive other people, you have to ask yourself, haven't I forgiven myself yet? Yun ang tanong. Kasi bakit hindi ka makapagpatawad? Okay? It's hard to forgive people when you haven't forgiven yourself first. So think about it. May mga tao ka ba na hindi napapatawad ngayon? Baka naman hindi na talaga sila yung problema. Kaya hindi mo sila mapatawad kasi feeling mo hanggang ngayon hindi mo pa rin napapatawad yung sarili mo. So this takes a lot of introspection, takes a lot of acceptance. Kasi kailangan matanggap mo na hindi mo mapatawad yung sarili mo. So, kailangan malaman mo sa sarili mo. Magkausap kayo ng sarili mo, mag-board meeting kayo ng sarili mo. Bakit hindi mo mapatawad si ganito, si ganyan? Baka naman kasi hindi mo pa napatawad yung sarili mo muna. So, let go of the anger that you feel towards yourself because maybe, just maybe, that's also the reason that's holding you back from forgiving other people and moving on with your life. May isa akong na-realize, no? As you grow older, you tend to realize a lot of things. Hello, Sir Joseph! Thank you so much for tuning in. At sa mga nagpapadala po ng hearts and likes, thank you so much. I'm sorry I cannot see who's online, but I can see the hearts and the likes and stuff. Thank you so much for those emojis. Okay, so this is what I realized as well. Mahirap talagang mag-move on kapag may mga dinadala kang baggage, no, sa sarili mo. Pag may dinadala kang baggage, it's really hard to move forward with your life. And kaya tayo hindi nakaka-move forward is because of ourselves. Tayo din pala mismo yung dahilan bakit hindi tayo maka-move on. So ngayon, as you grow older, you realize that at the end of the day, kapag hindi ka maka-move on, ikaw din pala yung nasasaktan. And you will constantly feel that pain if you haven't forgiven yourself. So be kind to yourself. Isipin mo ngayon, bakit ka nakikinig sa podcast na to? Baka meron ka pang hindi napapatawad na tao. 'Di ba? Sabi nga nung isang mentor ko, you usually go to a program na ganito, may mga moments na mapupunta ka sa isang lugar or may maririnig ka kasi kailangan mong marinig yon. So baka isa ka sa mga yon na kailangan mong marinig tong podcast na to aside from the top fans out there. Kasi alam ko maraming top fans dyan sa audience natin. But sa mga hindi top fan, pero napadpad ka dito, baka may dahilan kung bakit naririnig mo yung podcast ngayon. Right? So maybe it's time that you forgive yourself for all the mistakes that you have done in the past so that you can move on and start living a better life because you deserve it. Baka mamaya ikaw, hindi ka pa nakaka-move on, yung mga taong kinakagalitan mo, kinakagalit mo, yung mga taong nag-cause ng heartbreak sa'yo, baka sila nagpa-party na, tapos ikaw bitter ka pa rin. So, start forgiving yourself. Of course, my last tip for tonight will be, if you believe or once you believe that you have already found all the reasons to forgive yourself, you've already done the tips that I mentioned earlier, ito na yung pinaka-last tip ko. Say it out loud. Okay? So this is what you have to say out loud. I forgive myself for all the mistakes I have made and I am willing to change to become a better person. Ulitin natin. I forgive myself for all the mistakes I have made and I am willing to change to become a better person. So it all boils down to acceptance. Kailangan nating tanggapin kung ano yung mga nagawa nating mali. Kailangan nating patawarin yung sarili natin sa mga nagawa nating mali or maybe bad decisions, bad actions. Also, again, remember, whatever your decisions were in the past, whatever your actions were in the past, those do not define you. Kung ano man yun, they do not define you. You have to let go of the anger you felt towards yourself or you're still currently feeling. There's a reason why things happen. So stop blaming yourself for all that happened, for everything that happened in the past. So hopefully you learned a thing or two from our podcast episode kahit na parang bumabagyo sa likod ko. Ayan, sana may natutunan po tayo. And if this podcast episode resonated with you, or if you believe that this podcast episode will help somebody else out, please share this video kasi hindi natin alam, baka may iba na kailangan ding marinig to. Lalong-lalo na yung mga hindi pa na-let go yung mga galit sa puso nila. Okay? Maybe, just maybe, you haven't forgiven other people is because you haven't forgiven yourself yet. So forgive yourself. You deserve to be happy. You deserve to live a good life. You deserve the love that you give always. Okay? Deserve nating maging masaya. So learn to let go of those anger and start living a happier life and a more fulfilling life. Once again, thank you so much to all our live audience and to those who are watching via replay. Thank you so much kahit na umuulan at alam ko medyo humihina yung signal natin. Thank you for tuning in and for constantly supporting my channel. Ulitin lang po ulit natin, no? So this week we will only be having Mondays, Wednesdays, and tomorrow for Business Thursday. So every week, ganun na po muna yung schedule natin until such time na matapos na yung ating mga engagement with other partners. Thank you everyone and stay safe, stay healthy. God bless you all. Bye. Thank you.